Hello YouTube, I'm going to be going over just the basics of everything we know about Persona 5 The Royal. If you check out the video description, there will be a much more in-depth version in written form, so that goes into more, well, story details, specific mechanics, and so on. So I'm going to be going over the characters first, and then stuff in the overworld, stuff in the metaverse, stuff like that. So let's get started. Our first new character is Kasumi Yoshizawa, who's a first year at Shujin Academy. She joins the Phantom Thieves at some point, we don't know when exactly, and she uses Cendrillon or Cendrillon. It's the French version of Cinderella, and she uses primarily physical skills, though she complements it with bless and healing abilities. So from what it sounds like, she's a jack of all trades like Makoto, only leaning towards physical instead of Makoto's magical. Our next character is Takuto Maruki. We actually don't know much about this one. We know he joined Shujin Academy as a counselor after the first arc. If you've played the game, you know who that's about. And while his confidant with Ren or Joker or whatever grants passive abilities, that's all we know, passive abilities in battle. So for example, giving him a chance to dispel status ailments. And, well, like I said, that's all we know. Our final new character is Yosei, so spelt with a J. Again, we don't know much about this one, but we do know that he appears in Mementos, or at least first appears in Mementos, and seems to embody, well, honestly, a ton of quality of life changes they've made to both Mementos and the metaverse. For example, through him you can adjust mementos, so increase the amount of XP you get from battles, the amount of gold, and affect the drop rate for items. He also runs a shop where you can buy SP items, which is interesting because this is the first entry, at least in the modern Persona trilogy, that lets you buy SP items, unless I'm mistaken. And now we come on to the general stuff. The big thing on this side is that there's now a new semester, so that's 3 new months of content along with a new palace. Again, obviously no pictures. As for the new mechanics, so battle's been improved. So for example, the biggest addition will probably be the new show times, which are combo attacks. So if you played Q2 or Persona 4 Golden, if you remember the unison attacks from that, it's that system returning. So far we've seen about 2 each for everyone, so we don't know how many there are in total, so that's something to look forward to. As for other mechanics, baton passing has been buffed, so there's now several tiers to baton passing that you can level up outside of battle, and in battle the third baton pass, so if you've passed a baton to every team member, once you've reached the final rank, it's now a free action, so any skill now costs 0 SP or HP. As for the Velvet Room, that's also been improved. There's now a fusion alarm, which is quite, we actually don't know specifically how it works yet. All we know is that fusion accidents are now more common, and when you do perform a fusion, you now have the option of letting the inherited skills glitch out into new ones. That was covered in one of the Morgana reports. I won't be using footage here because who knows how YouTube works these days, probably get copyrighted for that. But again, full post in the description, check that out. I've got some examples there as well. You can also, among other things, there are quite a few changes in the Velvet Room, but the other big one is now challenge battles, which, well, just as they sound, they're just free battles you can do to they're score-based battles, I should say, and winning them with certain score thresholds gets you rewards. And this is also the one mode we have DLC announced for thus far. On the real world side of things, there's now a new city rather, Kichijoji, and Kichijoji is big from what we've seen. I don't think we've even seen the full place yet. But yeah, so there's just a ton of facilities there that all seem geared towards quality of life services. For example, there's now a new shop where you can trade in equipment that's been rendered obsolete, and you can either trade it for rare items or points that you can put towards just other specific items. And we also have a new player assist system. This is something else that was revealed alongside the game itself, where if you remember from the original game, if you had the network enabled, now if you press the touchpad, you'll get the "here's what people did on this day" screen. But the game itself will also recommend activities you can do. So the example one of the interviews gave early on was, if your charm is low, it will suggest going to the bathhouse, or it will suggest going to a certain confidant. So stuff like that, that's going to be quite helpful, I think, if you're just new to the game or lost or honestly just bored. Something important is that there is no DLC package for this game. There's no ability to transfer saves. Instead, what we're getting is the ability to use our old saves and get a new bonus that will help us in the early game. Again, we don't know what this is specifically, so either it's items or like a really good weapon, or maybe we will be able to transfer specific aspects of our old save over. If you played Persona 5 on the PS3, you can upload a save to Atlus's cloud and then import it that way. And because Persona 5 Royal has changed so much, which is the reason we couldn't import our old saves, there's also a brand new trophy list, which I'll touch on later, and the install size has also increased. So if you recall, the original game was about 20 gigabytes, whereas now it's 30 gigs. It's a new semester. We've got Kasumi being added into the main story, as well as a ton of other events. So it makes sense. So there's a final feature that's been added. It's neither metaverse nor real world. It's called My Palace. It's basically a customizable, it's not a palace per se, but it's like a giant house or a giant room you can customize, so you can put in aspects of the different palaces you've completed, so statues or like texture or floor textures, as well as places from the real world, so different shops you've been to. You can put in the cafe Rand lives in, for example. And this is where you can also find different plaques that commemorate your achievement. So this is what I suspect the new trophies are going to be. And for something that covers the entire game, there are also 20 plus new songs, over 20 new songs, I should clarify. We've already heard of some in the new trailers, so there's a new battle theme that was used in the character trailers. The reveal trailer came with the new theme song, Colors Flying High, which is also in the new opening. And the end. That's the end of the video. Thank you all for putting up with the audio gaff. I think you probably noticed quite early on that this is my first time doing something like this, and hopefully this is just something I'll be able to work on as I make these videos. While this is the end of the road for the Persona stuff, the game comes out in 2 weeks as of the making of this video. I do want to thank you all for watching this video, and another shout out to the people who've been following me on Reddit so far, and also my own website for these past 6 months. It's been quite a journey. It's my first time doing something like this. I'm happy for everyone who supported me and like the people I've managed to meet as a result. There was a point halfway through I didn't want to go dark, but there was just so many people who seemed to be enjoying this and seemed to be getting something out of this, so I kept going, and it's been almost 6 months. So thank you all for watching, reading, sharing. Speaking of sharing, I suppose this is the inevitable call to action part of the video, so if you did like this, please like it, share it, subscribe. As I said, this is the end of the Persona stuff, but I do want to cover other JRPGs, light novels, especially books I don't think get enough attention. I'm also got some ideas for animes. If any of that interests you, please do all of those things, and I hope to see you next time. Thank you very much, and have a nice day.